13 heroes set out to kill the Demon King, but instead of saving the world, they destroyed it. Alicia dreams of becoming a hero, but her failure changed everything. The only solution? Hand over a single child to the beast, Clevatess. Who is this child? And why is he humanity's last hope? Stick around. This story is nothing like you've heard before. Our story begins with a beautiful girl training and practicing with her staff. Her name is Alicia. Meanwhile, her father, a skilled farmer, was tilling the field. He calls out, "Come on, let's go home." Then they return to their beautiful and modest home. In the evening, the father carves something, and Alicia asks her father a question. "Tell me, father, why is everything around the city of Aditya on this map black?" He tells her that the situation in that area is probably very dangerous, but they don't know what's there. We know there's something beyond the continent of Aditya, but dangerous dark beasts live in the dark places. And the 4 lords of the dark beasts who protect the east, west, north, and south have destroyed all the expeditions we sent. We have prevented the 4 dark lords from going to and beyond the reaches of Aditya for many years. But if the legend is true, there's an old legend that a hero will use a weapon given to him by King Haydn and defeat the 4 lords. Then, people will know the true size of the world. Alicia asks him, "Are the dark beast lords strong?" Her father tells her, yes, they are very strong. It's said they can split the sky and earth. That's why heroes, or the hero, must obtain a special weapon from King Haydn. It's said this weapon is only given to heroes and makes its wielder much stronger. She says to him, "I want this weapon. I will become a hero one day and make the world much bigger." After that, the scene now shifts to this place or that carriage when it hits something, and the girl says, "Finally, father, it's time to find the answer to my dream." We infer that this girl is probably Alicia, and what we mentioned earlier was about her past with her father. After that, Katz talks about many treasures while this is Horgus, and the other is Mirlo and Majuu. They are all from different countries and are talking about the heroine, as the existence of a heroine is a surprise. Then they ask her where she is from, and they haven't heard her name yet, but Stefan interrupts them, saying, "I tell them we've arrived. We could be attacked at any moment. Stay on alert and keep your hands on the trigger." Then the carriage driver stops and tells them, "I'm sorry, heroes. The road has become too rough. The horses cannot go any further. You must proceed on foot." At that moment, a sudden attack comes, and they eat the horses in an instant, in a fraction of a second. The heroes quickly get out. Everyone takes their place and moves. They start aiming at their eyes and kill many of them. Then they advance quickly, killing everyone in front of them without mercy or pity. They are truly strong, but can they hold on for longer? And what about the king of those monsters? After that, powerful venomous snakes emerge and spray their deadly poison, but Stefan uses a powerful cutting wave and kills them all. After it cut off its head, it started to move and bite, but it was hit by an arrow in the eye by its friend. Finally, they reach the lair of the Dark Beast Lord, and if they reach the summit, they will be the first heroes to fulfill the legend we mentioned earlier. At that moment, the Demon King emerges. He was at the top, and uses his high destructive power to shock the entire mountain. Yes, my friends, he is one of the 4 lords of the Dark Beasts, the ruler of the far south of Aditya. Here, Stefan steps forward and says, "I swear we will destroy him." But when they advanced, the monster instantly killed him as if he were a fly. Not only that, but things got worse and worse, and he killed them one by one. Alicia tells them that the attacks are coming from the shadows. "Everyone, get away from the shadows, quickly, jump!" Everyone started to pay attention, but one of them also died when he tried to attack it, and another was also killed in a very difficult way. Alicia was jumping from one point to another, trying to evade its attacks. Then the monster speaks and says, "What are these insects, and why have they come here?" More than 1,000 years have passed. Then Alicia finally launches her decisive attack directly at its head, but it strikes her with a very powerful blow, severing her leg, as you can see. It's very difficult. Then she says as she dies, "I'm so sorry, father. I failed. I couldn't get the answer to my dream." After that, we now move to the kingdom of Haydn, where we see some humanoids crafting a weapon. Then they look up. Perhaps something is coming. Yes, my friends, it's the decisive moment. A black wolf monster appears, exploding entire areas. The dark beast spreads terror and destroys the land. Its power is enormous. Then it tells them, "The heroes who invaded my land said that the king of Haydn chose them. This means the king is now in that castle, but I will kill everyone who stands in my way, just as they did before." The archers try to shoot at it, but it easily deflects them. Then it dashes at full speed, wanting to enter the fortress. Everyone prepares. Yes, it's war. They prepare and bring the catapults, firing with all their might, but it has no effect on it. Nothing affects it. It's very strong. They try again, but it's useless. At that moment, it kills them all. After that, one of the people enters the king and tells him, "Sir, you must escape quickly. The dark beast has besieged the castle, and he is now trying to storm the palace." The king says, "I can guess what it is. The heroes failed. The power of the Haydn blades, the hydrate mana power, wasn't strong enough in my generation." Then one of the soldiers says, "The dark beast has reached the castle." He urges the king to escape quickly, because they cannot stop it. The king replies, "If we cannot stop it, there's no point in fleeing. We will seal the furnace. The Haydn fire must not go out." Then we see the soldiers running, shouting, Open the eastern gates from 1 to 6. Bring out the connected catapults from 1 to 6. The second connected catapult company is in position. Target the beast clinging to the castle. Target, quickly. Another soldier says to him, "But we will hit the castle. We cannot hit the royal castle with royal catapults." The second one speaks angrily. "All we have to do is protect the king and the king's furnace." Then the beast speaks. There was something different about the heroes, and the soldiers start firing arrows and weapons at it, but it deflects everything. The weapons, as I expected, those red blades hurt my horns. Even insects can pose a threat to them. If that's what distinguishes the human race, I must verify it myself before it grows stronger. We see the king open this gate, but the beast destroys it and enters the king's palace, saying to him, "I found you. You must be the king of Haydn." Then the king says to him, "A monster like you has no right to use human language." The lord of the dark beast tells him, "I will destroy the entire human race if I don't like your answer. Not just the people of Haydn, but Dawn, Org, Saladon, and Paint, all the nations and people of Aditya. Even if I kill you and destroy your nation, if the rest are like you, more will come to disturb my lands. So, I want to know the true nature of humans. You, who wear flamboyant clothes and walk on 2 legs, what kind of creatures are you? Answer me." The king replies, "A monster like you will never understand." The king doesn't finish his sentence as the beast immediately cuts off his neck. The lord of the beast then destroys the rest of the city, saying to himself, "I will first build an army and exterminate the humanoids." On his way, he hears a child crying loudly. He goes to it and realizes it's a child from Haydn. The child's mother asks the beast to save him. He tells her that he, Clevatess, has decided to destroy all humanoids. "If you want anything, it's that you gave birth to a human child in Haydn." She tells him that children cannot choose the time or place of their birth. "Whatever atrocities adults have committed against you, that cannot be a reason for this child to die." "What? He's too young to stand." The Lord of the Beasts replies, "From my point of view, a humanoid remains a humanoid. It doesn't matter if it's a child or an adult, he will carry a sword when he grows up and will come to harm us, the dark beasts. He won't be content with his current lands and will invade our lands. Moreover, he is dangerous and troublesome, so I will eliminate him." The beast takes the small child and says to him, "I'm still not convinced, but human life is just a moment from my perspective, so prove it to me." After that, we see this map, and in the land of Aditya, there are 5 humanoid races. The first is the Dawn race, who are the most numerous and skilled in architecture and military planning. They built 2 great nations that divided the Dawn plain in the middle of the continent, Aslan and Bolit. The second of these races is the Org race, brave forest dwellers who excel in hunting and medicine. The third race is the Salado race. They don't like to interact with other races. The fourth race is the Paint race, a barbaric race that lives in the desolate lands, sleeping individually but divided in cohesion. The other race is the Haydn race. They are the oldest and most mysterious race. Their specialty was in the arts of refining and shaping metals. Haydn is a small nation in the middle of the mountains. They are the only ones capable of making weapons from magic stones and the only ones who know the necessary techniques for that. They are the royal family who live in the capital, Hydrate. They have a long history of selling weapons to the Dawn race. These days, Haydn half-breeds are the most common. Pure Haydn individuals are rare. The world extends beyond the lands of Aditya, but these 5 races know nothing about it because the dark beasts live outside the lands of Aditya, and their 4 lords block the way. After that, we go to Moon Mountain. We see many monsters in front of this small child, but the Lord of the Beasts comes and puts the small child to sleep, saying, "I can restore its strength, but that will only delay the inevitable. It won't solve the real problem. What is wrapped in this delicate form? I assume it's to protect its frail body, but it will soon be covered in its waste again." But the beast didn't know what it wanted, so the beast became annoyed and threw it into this hole. Then he takes it again, saying to him, "I promise you I will take care of you until you grow up, if I am to decide the fate of all humanoids living in the land of Aditya." Suddenly, Alicia wakes up from her sleep and wants to attack the Lord of the Beasts, but she doesn't have a sword. The beast tells her, "I threw the bodies of your companions and your weapons to the bottom of the ravine. You are now a walking corpse, empowered by the dark fluid I gave you." Alicia is surprised, saying, "What do you mean? How can you speak human language? Am I the only survivor?" The beast then asks her to nurse this infant because it's very hungry. The dark beast finds no milk in Alicia's breast, as she is a virgin. He is puzzled by this. She informs him that only a mother who has given birth can produce milk. The dark beast becomes greatly annoyed. Alicia then asks him to kill her again and relieve her of this humiliation. He tells her she won't die because the dark fluid runs in her veins. The child begins to cry again. The dark beast uses its power to restore the child's energy, but it can do nothing about its hunger. Alicia asks him, "Why do you even have a human child?" But he doesn't answer her and asks her for a solution to silence the child and satisfy its hunger. Alicia tells him, "If he doesn't have a mother, you must find a wet nurse, who is a substitute for a mother. She produces milk if the mother can't. And if you don't know anyone, you must hire one with money or its equivalent, like these diamonds in this mountain. 1 diamond from this mountain is enough to hire a wet nurse." Alicia thinks that if she had her sword, she could attack him, but she is helpless because she can't move her body, as he controls it completely. He asks her to go together to hire the wet nurse. She tells him, "Wait, You can't just go by yourself. If you go in this form, you'll cause panic in the entire city, and you'll never find your wet nurse. Give me this child. I'll go instead of you. She thinks to herself, I cannot allow this monster to approach a human village. I will find a wet nurse and give her the child. The dark beast refuses, not wanting her to die out of his sight. But this child might not grow into a healthy human because I'm holding him incorrectly, and then I won't be able to decide. At that moment, the beast transforms into a beautiful woman, the same appearance as the child's mother. Alicia is shocked by what happened to his body. The dark beast informs her, I control shadows, and this is a form for carrying this child. I've hidden the rest of my body. Then he hides his tails to become like an ordinary woman, except for a horn in the middle of his forehead. He then thinks of giving himself and the child names to move in the human world. The beast names himself Clin, and the little child Luna. Then he learns the hero's name, and they then head towards the city. After that, we see Alicia cleaning the child, and the transformed beast orders her to clean it well and take extreme care. Then he orders her to take off her clothes and bathe in the river, because her clothes are wet and might affect the child. He gives her the child's dirty cloth to wash with hers. She begins washing this piece of cloth and finds the emblem of the Haydn royal family on it. She realizes that this child is from the royal family. On the other hand, we see this young man riding his horse, wondering what happened in the city and how one dark beast did all this. He blames the king for sending warriors and provoking the dark beasts upon them. He says that the princess's fear was justified, and the plan was for her to escape the castle with her son, meaning the little child is the princess's son. But this young man doesn't know what happened and calls out, is anyone alive? But no one answers him. On the other hand, we see this gang, and their leader is named General Drill. He orders one of his followers to send a messenger to inform the emperor that the legend has fallen with the destruction of Hydra Castle and the probable death of the king. We must move to another place. There's a possibility of dark beasts gathering from the south as well, since it's undefended. But more importantly are the secrets of arkansite crafting, which only the Haydn royal family knows. We must not let another nation steal them before us. I will return to the border and restructure our armies. This general then orders one of his followers named Maynard to stay here and search for survivors of the royal family and their relatives, and to capture them alive if he finds any of them. The scene then shifts to Alicia, who screams and holds this garment high, saying that this child is from the royal family and only members of the royal family are allowed to wear this emblem. This means this child carries royal blood. Did you know that when you kidnapped him? The transformed beast informs her, I did not kidnap this child. Before him, no child looked like this form I'm in. Alicia is surprised and calls him a liar. The transformed beast replies, I'm telling the truth. I found him under the rubble of the destroyed castle. The castle was destroyed while I was killing the king of Haydn. Alicia is greatly shocked that he killed the king. That's because you attacked us first, Alicia tells him. If the king is dead and this child is from the royal family, everyone will search for him because it's said that only the kings of Haydn can master the art of arkansite craft. The transformed beast realizes that this crafting is the making of the weapons they were fighting him with. I was wondering why I decided to raise this child, but I understand now that he carries a fate of blood he cannot resist. It's also interesting. So I will make him king, and then I will support him in ruling from the shadows. I never had an interest in ruling, but if I'm going to observe humanoids, I'd rather do it from a high position. It will be fun to put my servants in power too, so I can destroy them whenever I want. Yuusha is very afraid of this talk, and thinks deeply about it and the fate of the world after this. But he is very interested in this child, and if he is taken or killed, it's probable that all humans will be killed. I must prevent that. This is my last mission as a hero. They then continue walking to search for this wet nurse. Suddenly bandits appear, and one of them attacks the transformed beast off guard. Alicia warns him, but he takes the blow to the head, and the rest of the bandits gather around them. Alicia says with dismay, they are bandits and their fate is inevitable death. But suddenly, something strange happens. Blood pours from the transformed beast and he falls to the ground, bleeding heavily. Alicia is greatly shocked by this situation. One of them hits her on the head and she also loses consciousness. They capture them all. What will happen in the next episode? What is the fate of Alicia and this transformed beast? Is this a trick from him, or is this form very weak for him? We will find out in the next episode, so stay tuned, and please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell icon to receive all new updates. Our episode begins with Alicia waking up, held captive with Clin in a wagon, along with many other prisoners. Clin, however, appears calm. Alicia asks him why he's so calm, and he tells her that the important thing is that little Luna is fine. She just cried a little and then fell asleep. Alicia approaches him and asks him what exactly is happening and why the blow he received before being captured was enough to knock him out so easily. She notes that he certainly isn't as weak as humans when he transforms into one of them. Clin tells her that's not true, of course. He was just surprised that this delicate skin and fragile body were much weaker than he expected. Alicia asks him why they don't escape now. He tells her that he is human now and will remain so until Luna is crowned queen, and he will hide his true identity until then. He also wants to see the nature of humans. He then asks Alicia to explain what's happening now. Alicia tells him that bandits attacked them, and it seems they are taking them to slave traders. She explains that the bandits are bad humans and never hesitate to use dirty tricks to achieve their goals, and he shouldn't generalize all humans based on these scoundrels, as there are many good people. They then arrive at their destination and get out of the wagon. When one of the prisoners tries to escape, a bandit stabs him, killing him, and they threaten everyone that they will kill anyone who tries to escape. Then, one of the gang members takes Alicia. We then see a woman named Carmi calling out to Clin, surprised that he's with a baby girl, and invites him into her house. She then calls her servant Nell, stating that her job is to take care of children. We then move to the room of Chief Frocco. Guards enter with Alicia, but one of the guards calls him by his name. The chief gets angry and tells him never to call him by his name, but rather Chief, because their previous chief, Zizak, left and never returned, and he is now in his place. He warns that if no one calls him Chief, he will fire them all, and it won't be him doing it, but rather the beast Betty. When Alicia sees the beast Betty, she's impressed because it's a dark beast from the west, and she's surprised that the chief raises one as if it were a pet. The chief then takes a bag full of red stones and approaches Alicia, saying, "I was told you brought these from Mount Luna, the dwelling of Clevatess, one of the 4 dark beast lords. I was told that King Haydn sent 13 heroes here with sacred treasures, but they failed. One of those soldiers was a woman, and you can't find anything of this purity in human lands. Is this a coincidence? Are you among the 13 soldiers who went there?" He then asks her if she knew that Clevatess attacked Hydrate and destroyed its castle. The chief then pulls out his blade, and Alicia is surprised because that red blade can only be made by the kings of Haydn, and the redder it is, the purer it is. It's said that using weapons made from it makes the wielder much stronger. He then tells her that this blade is fake. They don't just sell slaves, but also fake weapons, because most people are foolish and can't tell the difference between fake and real. He tells her that there are 2 ways to collect sacred treasures: either become a hero recognized by the king, or steal one from a dead hero, which is easier. However, most heroes die at the hands of dark beasts in their lands, making it impossible to find them after death. He then asks Alicia where her sacred treasure is, and where the treasures of the other 12 heroes are, but Alicia refuses to answer. The chief tells his guards to make her talk and lead them to the sacred treasure tomorrow, as she is the only key to finding the 13 treasures. They then leave. We then see Clin in the restaurant, working as a servant, serving meat to everyone, and they mock him. We then see Carmi talking to her friend about Clin, saying he's a strange boy and that horn on his head made her think he had ogre blood, but he's very pale and his body is weak. We then see the girl Nell carrying a drink, and one of the guards deliberately knocks her down and takes her outside to punish her. They beat her and leave her. Clin immediately kills them and hides them. Nell approaches him, and Clin tells her to take care of the baby and that he wants to talk to her a little. They then sit together and get to know each other more. Nell tells him that she has been here with the Ravens since birth and doesn't know who her father is. She had a mother, but she always saw her from behind and doesn't remember her face at all. Her mother was a slave and the bandits always beat her. Then she disappeared after a while and she doesn't know if she escaped or died. But after that, everyone started hurting her instead of her mother, and she lost most of her teeth and became deaf in one ear from all the beating. At that time, she realized that her mother was protecting her, and they were always treated like animals. Things got a little better when Carmi came and taught her how to deal with those men, and things became less bad than before, and she got a job taking care of children. Clin asks her that if she gave birth, she can breastfeed children, so where is her child? Nell tells him that she gave birth to a stillborn child, and when she learned he was dead, the world became black in her eyes, and she felt as if she was being pulled to the bottom of the earth and she wished to die. But when she started taking care of small children, she felt that she was created for these weak ones and started imagining that they were her children. Clin then asks her to come with him. He will hire her as Luna's nurse, as he trusts no one here but her, and it seems Luna has grown fond of her too. Nell thought about it, looking surprised. Clin spoke to her again, saying, "Come on, think, I want to hear your answer. Will you come with me as Luna's nurse, or will you stay here as a servant to the slaves, who I'm told are scum?" Nell replied, "Honestly, I'm very happy with this offer, but in the end, you're a slave and won't be able to bring me much money. So I'll stay here. I have to take care of the children who will come in the future." "I'm so sorry." She then handed him the baby and left. On the other hand, we see the heroine Alicia trying to cross a bridge with those foolish bandits. She stops and thinks, and one of them strikes her lightly with his sword, saying, "Come on, move! Are you thinking of jumping? The walls of this place slope inwards. You'll hit the rocks before you reach the lake." Then they watch a man who wants to challenge that lake and go under it to reach a magic mine only about 2 meters deep under the water, but it's a very dangerous matter. Everyone says, "Oh, how foolish, he's really stupid." His wife was waiting for him outside, saying, "Do your best, darling," but he didn't know his end or his fate. He jumps into the water, and Alicia is surprised, saying, "Is he crazy? The entire entrance is underwater, and there are some very powerful monsters. He'll never survive." Indeed, in just moments, a monster eats him, and even leaps into the air, taking another. Yes, my friends, they are Arvence's dark monsters hovering in the area. They came with the floods 300 years ago, so they abandoned this mine. Even Kodwar, the strongest hero of his time, couldn't defeat them, and at that time there was still land to fight. His weapon, Current Cutter, was named so because it split a waterfall in front of the king of Haydn. One of them said to her, I didn't know a sword could have a name. Does your sword have a name too? She told him. There's no reason for me to tell you that. Tell me, you fool. You promised them freedom, but why are you putting a rope on a slave and tying him up? That means you'll never free him and won't let him leave alive. I can imagine what scum like you are thinking. You're like the children of Zion. You never keep your promises. The other replies, don't interfere in others' affairs and focus on your own situation. You'll never be free. There are restraints on your wrists and also iron balls on your legs. And you're on a bridge, and many more are waiting for you on the other side. Everyone is excited to hear the Miss Heroine scream like a pig. Then this clown comes and jumps in front of her, shaking the entire bridge. They tell him, you idiot, the bridge might collapse. Don't act crazy, he tells them. I don't care about anything because I see a female and I want to tear her clothes and rape her in front of everyone. The other woman gets extremely angry, then tries to break free of her restraints, hits him hard and cuts the bridge rope, and they both fall as lifeless bodies. Will this be the end? Wait for us in the next episode to find out what will happen, but you must subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Our episode today begins with the bandits after they threw Alicia, leading to her death. They are thinking of a solution because if Fruko finds out she died, he will kill them, as she was supposed to lead them to the 13 holy treasures. Then, suddenly, we see Alicia open her eyes. She's alive, but can't feel anything in her body. She wonders, what's happening to me? What happened to my body? Have my bones shattered and impaled something? What is this blood? What can I do? If I don't do something, these thieves will get to me. Suddenly, blood gushes from her head and forms into the demon Clevatess, who tells her, you've bled a lot, you fool. Alicia is surprised and asks him, why do you look like such a small puppy? He informs her that his form is determined by the amount of dark fluid. The dark fluid is what keeps her alive, and if she loses it all, she will die instantly. He tells her, of course, as long as you deserve to stay alive, I will forcibly return it to your body if I have to. And if you do that, anything that hasn't been completely lost will be restored as it was. She asks him, why didn't you do that? Did you abandon me? He tells her that he found the perfect nurse for Luna while they were separated by the bandits. This nurse's name is Niel, and she works with the thieves. From the perspective of a dark monster like him, she's not treated well, so he thought she would gladly accept an offer to be hired. But she refused his offer without even thinking. He asks her, why did she do that? Alicia tells him, because she surely thought he was a slave with a child. She didn't trust his words. People like these thieves don't let anyone go, so she was afraid to leave with him because they would follow her and kill her. The safest way is to crush all those thieves. If he does that, no one will follow Neil and she will accept his offer. He tells her that he cannot allow anyone to know that he left Mount Luna, and he doesn't want anyone to attack during his absence or wonder why he is here, especially since he is raising Luna. He then orders her to do it, to slaughter these thieves who call themselves ravens. No one will suspect a hero who slaughters a gang of thieves. Alicia tries to refuse, but Clevatess doesn't give her a chance and enters her body as blood once again. We see her body beginning to heal and her broken bones mend. Just then, a group of thieves arrives and are surprised by what happened. They decide they will capture her alive and force her to tell them the location of the 13 holy treasures. Then, one of the thieves attacks Alicia. As he was about to strike her with his sword, she grabs his hands, strikes him, takes his sword, and prepares for battle. Then we see Klain carrying Luna, telling her that he will try to convince Neil again to be her nanny. Next, we see Neil returning home, and Carmi scolds her for being late. Neil tells her she was late because she was feeding the baby. Carmi tells her the kitchen needs cleaning, but notices that Neil is in a good mood even though she has a bruise on her eye from the thieves. She asks her what happened. Neil looks at her and asks, what's the outside world like, Carmi? You came here from the outside, but I was born with the ravens and know nothing about the outside world, so I wonder what it's like and what it feels like to live there. Carmi tells her, most women here, aside from me, lost their homes outside or did something bad and ended up here. I don't have any good memories of the outside. Why are you asking me this now? Are you thinking of leaving, Neil? Neil gets nervous and tells her she's not thinking of leaving at all, but is curious about the outside world. Someone asked her to go with him to the outside. While they are talking, we see Chief Fruko listening to them. When Carmi learns that a slave suggested to Neil that she go out into the outside world with him, she hits her and tells her that will never happen. She will stay here and die here. Chief Fruko enters, and Carmi is surprised and asks him what brought him here. He tells her he came to see something special she supposedly has, the little girl Luna. Neil tells him she's in the stable. Chief Fruko leaves and asks Neil to go with them. Carmi said, wait, sir, you shouldn't take her, she pleaded. The other woman, knowing the consequence as well, told him to wait, but he just gave her a glance and ignored her, leaving the place. Innocent Neil had no idea of her fate. Write in the comments what Neil's fate is. After that, Neil's friend became furious. Damn it, she's the only one who can nurse the babies. How are we supposed to feed the children now? Do they think every woman can breastfeed? At that moment, Klain, the Demon King, appeared carrying the child Luna. The woman told him, she can't get any milk anymore. The wet nurse is gone for good. She messed things up herself. She wished for something she couldn't have. It's her fault. What does that mean? He asked her. The woman then told him everything. The scene quickly shifts to the gang leader, or rather, the slave king, with Neil. They were descending into a crypt. "What is this strange place?" she asked him. "I've been here my whole life and never knew this place existed." He told her that this was formerly an arcanasite mine. This strange material can be used for many purposes other than making swords. I spent years researching it before joining the Ravens organization. At that moment, Neil found a skull bone and was surprised. The slave king told her not to worry, it was probably rat bones or something similar. "And now, I'm going to tell you about something I've been researching," he said, then turned off the light. "Sir, where are you, Master Furuko? It's pitch black and I can't see anything," she exclaimed. "I'll light the lamp right away," he replied. At that moment, he lit the lamp and surprised her with something very strange, a giant monster. "Now I will tell you about my field of research," he said. "I've been using a mixture of arcanasite powder with various other medicines and using it to control dark monsters. And now, we are going to punish the traitors and you are one of them. You wished for something you shouldn't have wished for and your punishment is execution. You will be this monster's dinner tonight. No, not tonight. Right now. This very moment." He then ordered the monster to eat her. The monster indeed swallowed her and she remembered Klein saying, "Come on, I'll get you out of this utter darkness." But perhaps this is the end, my friends, as the monster devoured her. At that moment, Klein appeared and said to little Luna, "I'm so sorry I couldn't feed you today. Your wet nurse has been devoured." The boy cried loudly. Klein told him, "Don't cry, little one. Eating and praying are the order of this world. This applies to animals, humans, and of course, dark monsters too. If they are hungry, they must eat or die. That's how the world is. Survival of the fittest, my friend." Kororo was surprised and said, "Who is this child?" But Klein didn't answer him and looked at the large monster, saying, "Perhaps it will get its punishment now." However, the slave king ordered the monster to devour Klein, but the monster was terrified, thrashing left and right. At that moment, Neil emerged from its insides. Then Betty vomits Neil. When Klein looks at her, he knows she's barely breathing. He places Luna next to her, telling her that he has neutralized her stomach acid, so he wants her to stay by her side, granting her peace until her last moments. At that moment, Neil and Luna move away. The slave king asks him, "Where did the child and the woman go? What trick did he use? Is he using a specific magic or not?" Klein doesn't understand his words. The slave king angrily orders him not to pretend to be foolish, saying that while magic is still a topic of discussion, he doesn't think he's just a stupid old man, as his generation invented the basics of magic. Then he asks him to observe this, as he will teach him the basics of magic. He then tells him that this powder is made of arcanasite, some herbs, and crushed larvae of a long-legged parasitic fly. These larvae have the effect of destroying the mind's ability to think and allow control over it. It just took time to refine, of course, and the only thing that can be completely controlled is a female troll, but one day he will control all dark monsters. And this is his magic, as magic is the term he uses for a new technique that allows them to use arcanasite to control any natural phenomenon. At that moment, a foul smell emanates from the bottle. Betty smells it, and the slave king orders him to crush Klein. Betty indeed runs towards Klein and punches him hard in the face, causing him to bleed. Klein becomes very angry because Alicia didn't tell him anything about magic. Then we see Alicia hitting these men. Alicia remembers that time when she was playing with her father, where her father tells her that her fists must be strong and her wrists relaxed when striking with a sword. Alicia asks him how she can become stronger. Her father tells her that she must never hesitate to hurt her enemy, never hesitate to use her techniques, and never hesitate to endure pain. Hesitation makes the body stiff, and that stiffness makes her strike slower and weaker. Once the stiffness disappears, she becomes much stronger, and most importantly, she must trust her sword. Then we return again to Alicia hitting the men. Everyone is astonished by her strength. Is she even human, they wonder? If we can't defeat her with technique, we'll defeat her with words, a man shouts, then attacks her, breaking her sword. These swords are too brittle for use, she says, unfazed, and rises again. She quickly flees from them. Their numbers are too great, more than 50 men. I can't fight them all without stopping. Even if I'm immortal, my energy depletes quickly. In fact, it seems the dark fluid that heals me also drains my energy. What will happen if I get too tired and can't run? They could catch me, they could do anything to me, and I wouldn't die. No one knows what horrors they might commit. I have to end this quickly. I need that legendary sword. She keeps running, and they chase after her, noticing where she's headed. When one man sees her going towards a jumping platform, his friend says, "She can't be that stupid. That lake is full of the dark beasts that killed the legendary hero. No one has come out alive from there in 300 years. Alicia thinks, just as I suspected, she's waiting for someone to fall, I've learned over the years. She escapes upwards, then jumps, breaking all the pillars and announcing, "It's feeding time, Arvin's water, dark beasts. Anyone who falls will be eaten." Everyone gets eaten, while she is safely hidden in a box, unseen. "I have one advantage the legendary hero didn't," she says. "Even if I suffocate, I won't die. I emptied all the air from my lungs before I jumped." Now I just have to bear the pain until I reach the bottom of the lake where the legendary sword lies. Thus ends today's episode of this anime. Wait for us in the upcoming episodes. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell icon to receive all new updates. Our episode begins with Alicia underwater, thinking to herself, I knew this wouldn't be fun, but the lack of air to breathe is unbearably painful. My head is going numb, I can't see, and my body is completely urging me to start flailing my arms. My mind knows I won't die, but my body resists to stay alive despite that. Hold on until you find the sword. Alicia then reaches the bottom and sees a red light at the seabed. She moves towards it, saying, my body is so heavy, it's numb and feels like lead, but once I reach the holy sword, it will make me stronger. She gets closer to the sword and tries to grasp it, but a very large red eye appears. She realizes she isn't at the bottom of a lake. She's above a massive dark beast underwater. When Alicia tries to take the sword, the beast pulls her towards it, and she enters its mouth. She then remembers her father's words, encouraging her to fight, telling her she's very strong and can do the impossible. Alicia manages to escape the beast's mouth and takes the sword. Red magical power emanates from the sword. Alicia waves the sword in a straight line and swims away from the beast, saying, the reason the legendary hero lost in an environment where he had the advantage was likely this massive thing. This is a beast so huge it's hard to believe it's from this world. It must be ancient. There were rumored dark beasts that lived for tens of thousands of years, slept for long periods, and rarely appeared. This must have been extracted by chance during arcane site mining. Hero Kudwar lost without even realizing what he was facing. Even with the holy treasure boosting my strength, I still don't have oxygen. First, I need to breathe. Alicia tries to get out of the water and succeeds. The guards see that she has successfully obtained the holy sword. Suddenly, the black beast emerges from the water, terrifying everyone. It attacks and kills the guards. Alicia uses her sword to cut off a tip of the beast's leg, but one hero cannot fight an ancient beast from the beginning. She decides to flee. As she's leaving, one of the guards calls out to her, begging her to save them and apologizing, but Alicia refuses to help them and escapes quickly. The beast then devours them. Alicia looks at the beast and realizes it only lives in water and doesn't come out, but she's happy she got the holy sword. Suddenly, she hears Kalen's voice calling her, but he's not there. He reassures her, telling her he's talking to her through dark liquid. He says, I didn't see it myself, but the blood tells me you're done and got the sword, but it seems it was difficult. She tells him she ran out of oxygen and had to deal with an ancient beast. She gets angry at him for not helping her when he noticed. Helen apologizes and tells her he's facing a small problem, and part of this problem is why he's in human form and struggling with a technique he hasn't seen before. He asks her why she hid the existence of magic from him, saying he'll punish her when he sees her. We then see Chief Barocco running away from Colleen. He wonders about this young man and what school he came from to have such superhuman strength. While running, he trips and sees Neil lying on the ground with the little girl Luna beside her. Alicia arrives at Kellen and asks him, what's this smoke? Kellen asks her, what's that sword in your hands? Alicia angrily tells him she'll never leave it or give it up, as she risked her life to get it. Kalen says, okay, never mind, the problem is this smoke. It seems ordinary animals like this aren't affected, and neither are you. It only affects the senses of dark beasts, and I can't smell anything and my ears are ringing. This is disgusting. How can I get rid of it? This place is so cramped, and I don't know where Luna is either. She should be ahead, but she's not in our sight. She's with Neil, who's barely alive. Kellen then asks Alicia to act, as she knows about magic. Alicia tells him she knows about it, but doesn't have the talent to confront or use it. Some people can use it, and some cannot. Arcanicite magic is used in everything he does, and for most people, it's just an ordinary stone. Still, some people, if they use it correctly, can extract its hidden power, as they say. For her, it's just an ordinary stone, but some of the heroes he killed could use this magic. Kellen leaves to search for Luna. Alicia asks him what he'll do if Luna is dead. He angrily tells her he won't do anything, but will lose any interest he had in humanity and destroy everyone. Alicia realizes that he will destroy humanity, and Luna is the only thing delaying that. They then start searching together. Alicia finds a bloodstain, and Kellen tells her that Neil was bleeding. He tried to stop the bleeding, but she shouldn't have moved at all. Either she crawled somewhere, or something dragged her. Either way, she couldn't have gone far. We then see Chief Barocco carrying the girl Luna. Neil tries to prevent him from escaping with her and holds onto his cloak. The chief hits her to make her let go, but Neil refuses. Barocco then decides he will cut off her wrist and pulls out his sword because he wants to escape with Luna, as he realized she has magical energy. At that moment, Alicia arrives and tells him to stop. Barocco is surprised and asks her what happened to his guards. Kellen tells him they died. The chief gets angry at them and tells them not to come closer, or he'll cut off the girl Luna's fingers with his sword. Alicia asks Kellen not to interfere at all and that she will handle it. She tells him she will make a deal with him and shows her holy sword. She tells him she will give him that sword in exchange for the girl, Luna. She brought it from the bottom of the sea with difficulty. She throws it far away and it lands inside the rocks. She asks him to leave Luna and go take the sword. Furuko laughs and tells her he never imagined that a hero would abandon a holy treasure so easily. He is now certain that this child has royal blood from Haydn and never intended to give her up. However, if she wants to take the child, she must tell him about all the holy treasures. Alicia tells him that all 13 holy swords are at the bottom of the valley in the great cave on Luna Mountain. When Furuko learns this, he uses a teleportation spell and disappears with the child Luna, starting to move to escape them. Suddenly, Alicia knows his location and takes her holy sword and kills him. She tells him she knew his location from Luna's crying and splits him in half. Kellen then takes Luna. We see Alicia asking Kellen if he can save Neil. If Luna is fine now, it's thanks to her. Kellen tells her he cannot control more than one person with the dark liquid, and her body is missing many parts, and he would have to compensate it from somewhere. Alicia gets angry and tells him that it is essential to heal Luna. Kellen tells her that if he does that, it will lead to her death. Alicia tells him she doesn't care. She is a hero, and it is her duty to sacrifice her life for the hopes and future of the people she is supposed to protect. Kellen agrees and removes the dark liquid from Alicia's body. Alicia falls to the ground and dies. We then see Neil's body recovering, and she wakes up from her death surprised that she is still alive. Kellen tells her to thank the hero, Alicia, because she is the reason for bringing her back to life, but she will wake up soon as her body has started to rot. She is strong for a human. Then suddenly, Alicia's body starts to move. She recovers and wakes up again. Kellen then gives Luna to Neil and tells her that her name from now on is not Neil, but Niel Loro, and she will come with them wherever they go. Niel Loro is very happy and agrees. Thus ends our episode today of this anime. To follow more episodes, please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell icon to receive all new updates. Our 5th chapter begins with Clint informing Alicia that he will confiscate the sacred sword. He explains that its presence will draw too much attention to her. Alicia is immediately distraught and refuses, but Clint ignores her pleas and hides the sword. Alicia is saddened, and Clint reassures her that he will return it when she truly needs it. Suddenly, Nellaroo arrives with the young girl Luna. Nellaroo tells Clint she's ready for their journey and has gathered everything they'll need, even dressing Luna in new clothes. Alicia asks if carrying so many bags and Luna is a heavy burden for Nellaroo, but Nellaroo replies that she feels remarkably light. Alicia realizes that Nellaroo must have lost a significant portion of her body and that Clint replaced it with parts of a large, muscular human. Nellaroo then approaches Alicia and offers to carry her sword and shield if she wishes. Alicia thanks her but explains she no longer has a sword. Nellaroo recalls Carmi once telling her that Chief Furoku kept all the good swords in his office, suggesting Alicia could sneak in and get one. Alicia is excited and asks Clint for permission, which he grants, allowing her to retrieve one sword. As Nellaroo walks with Clint, he tells her that Alicia is incredibly strong, having eliminated the bandits and cleared out the area. Nellaroo responds that she won't miss anything about this place, as she never saw anything good there, except for the fact that it was where she lived with her poor mother. She only wished she could have said goodbye to Carmi. Suddenly, a man descends from the sky and declares to Clint, "I've found you." Meanwhile, Alicia barges into Furoku's office to find a sword. She discovers some money and takes it, then finds a powerful and sharp sword, not a sacred one, but still formidable. As she's about to leave, the wall of the room suddenly collapses and Clint enters. The mysterious man appears and attacks Alicia. She realizes he's incredibly strong and dodges all his attacks, making him realize her strength. He then uses his power to strike her and throw her out of the building. He stands before her and tells her he only wants the child Luna. If she lets him take Luna, he'll let her live. Alicia tells him not to underestimate her, as she is a sacred hero. She uses her superhuman strength on the sword and attacks the man. As she's about to kill him, Clint uses his power to control their movements and stops the fight. Alicia is angry that he intervened. Clint explains it's a misunderstanding and tells Nellaroo to take Luna inside. Clint then informs Alicia that the man is a dark beast who has taken human form, but he has something else inside and currently under a powerful illusion that prevents him from even seeing his true form. His true form has wings and claws, and only one creature can use such powerful illusions, the Lord of the Western Dark Beasts, Zapthar of Illusions. The man asks Clint who he is and how he knows all this information. Clint introduces himself as a servant of one of the Dark Beast lords, who, like him, has taken human form. Alicia realizes that Clint is hiding his true identity from the Dark Beasts. The man then states that their goal is the same and transforms into his original form, telling Clint that Lady Zapthar is considering human annihilation just as Clevatess incinerated an entire human city. He introduces himself as Gart, a servant of Lady Zapthar. He asks Clint to show him proof that he is indeed a Dark Beast. Clint reveals his powerful tail, which is enough proof for Gart. Gart then returns to human form. Alicia is terrified, realizing she is standing before two Dark Beasts who can easily transform into humans. She wonders if there are others, and if this means the sacred heroes haven't been fighting the real battle, and the human world is smaller than she imagined. Clint then tells Alicia that there are no other Dark Beasts who can transform into humans. Alicia is startled that he knew her thoughts. Gart asks Clint why he is accompanying this human, a sacred hero, their enemy. Clin replies that she was once a hero but is now his servant, as he cast a spell on her, making her obedient to him and helping him understand human nature. Gart states he's not interested in any of that, but warns that if Alicia, Nelaru, or the little girl Luna stand in his way, he will kill them. Clin retorts that he won't let Gart live if he even touches them. Clin then says it's his turn to ask questions. What do you mean your lady is considering human annihilation? I know her well. She's eccentric and loves observing humans, and the ogres in the forests worship her as a goddess. What has changed? Alyssa thinks to herself that Clin is right. That's why the heroes never go to the western region and cannot cross the forest without the cooperation of the ogres. Gart explains that 3 days ago he was flying in the sky and saw 2 beasts searching for their young, greatly distressed. For some time, young beasts have been disappearing. This is the 9th disappearance of a young dark beast without a reason, and he doesn't know why, but he's sure humans are involved. He recounts standing before Lady Zothar, who told him they would never trust humans and it's better to infiltrate and spy on them. She ordered him to go to the human world, and if necessary, humanity would be completely destroyed. Returning to the present, Gart tells them that the young beast disappeared in the southern mountains, and he came here looking for clues. Clin tells him he had to kill a troll when it attacked him. Clin suggests that more young beasts might be kidnapped, and remembers Carmi saying that women here are forbidden from having children, so people always come to buy children. Strange people in black cloaks, who always mention something about talent. She saw Mr. Furoku meet with them some time ago, and knows nothing else, which is why she killed Neil's 3 children that she bore. She did it to protect those children, as death was better than being sold to those men. Returning to the present, Clin tells Gart that someone is buying children from here, and also kidnapping young dark beasts. These 2 events seem unrelated at first glance, but there is a connection. Those who were buying children were connected to Furoku, who had a pet troll, and this talent is that magic is deeply involved in this. Alicia says she knows nothing about magic. It's not her field, but it seems like something those who use magic as a tool of war do. They have appeared in the past few years and changed the way battles are fought. In the Dawn Plains, where Paulette and Aslan are currently fighting, the skill of the magician often determines who wins. The first to bring them to the battlefield was General Drill, the Dragon Slayer, and that general was the cause of her father's death. Clin then asks her, "Did you come to kill me instead of killing the man who killed your father?" Alicia replies that it was her father's wish. The scene shifts to the east of Highgate, where Aslan's camp is located. Commander Rod is directing the army when Miguel arrives and informs him that their forces have annihilated the vanguard, and Paulette's army, led by Drill, continues to advance south. They number 1,000 soldiers and will try to occupy Haydn. Rod tells him they only have 6,000 soldiers, which is not enough, and Drill's army will take 3 days to reach here. They are now heading directly to High Gate, and the fortress has a large gate to the east and a smaller one to the west. They will fight with all their might, but this will require Haydn's cooperation, and they sent messengers but received no reply, so the situation there is clearly dire. Miguel asks if the rumors about Clevatess' attack on the castle are true. Rod believes so, and says they sent Paulette Drill, their strongest general, and they are likely after the royal smelter. With this smelter, they can create a sacred treasure, and it would be very bad if they took it. This smelter is also the oldest magical artifact in the world, and anyone interested in magic would desire its secrets more than anything else, as he was told. Miguel tells him that Paulette's magical forces are much stronger than theirs, and it will be terrible if they take it, and they must stop them. Then, a guard rushes in and informs Rod that the large eastern gate is opening now. We then see General Drill standing before the guard Menard. Menard tells him that King Haydn was killed, and the crown prince is safe elsewhere. The problem now is the 6-month-old son, the only child confirmed to have royal blood, who was taken by a tall boy with black hair and is now missing. However, the Ravens have just informed him that they found a child from Haydn matching the description. The general tells Maynard, "You are the strongest magician in our army. Go now and bring that boy." This concludes our episode. To follow more episodes, please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell icon to receive all new updates. The next morning, Nell offers Clevatess a cup of coffee and asks where Gart might have gone. Clevatess tells her that he flew off to report what he's learned about magic and wizards to his master. He then tells Nell to act cool, insisting that Gart is no longer suspicious of her anymore. Soon, Alicia returns after questioning all the merchants in town, and she reveals that Haydn is a complete mess. From what she's gathered so far, the Balit country broke past the Haydn border and invaded it. Means remaining forces are trying their best to fight back, but since their king is already dead, there's no chance of them winning. As for the Ellen country, they tried to stop Bolate's forces at Haydn's border, but it didn't work. Curious, Clevatess asks why Essen would risk resisting Bolate. And Alicia explains that both countries have been at war for ages, and Lynn is weaker in terms of magic. They fear that Bolate will become unstoppable if they acquire Haydn's forge. But Alicia reveals that even if Haydn still has control over the forge, they lack the magical knowledge to use it without their king, since they've never had wizards. Apparently, the late king forbade the use of magic within his borders. After explaining this, Alicia joins Clevatess to share a cup of coffee, while Nell takes Luna away to feed him. As she walks, Alicia takes a liking to her. revealing that she likes everything about her. So Clevatess thinks she swings that way and playfully reminds her that no amount of scissors would make them have kids together. This throws Alicia off guard as she struggles to defend herself, so she clears the air by saying that she's happy that her sword was able to put a smile on Nell's face. She then asks Clevatess what he plans to do next, since Luna becoming king will be meaningless if Haydn is completely wiped out. She adds that the Haydn royal bloodline holds the secrets to refining Aranessite ore, which is why Bolate is after Luna. She points out that General Drell leads the Bolate army and that he went out of his way to unalive her father when he retired. Back then, in Drell's twisted quest for power, he challenged and defeated Alicia's father, who was also his best friend. But when Alicia wanted to walk the path of revenge, her dying father begged her not to do it. Instead, he told her to become a hero and allow him to see the rest of the world. Presently, Alicia tells Clevatess that the only way to protect Haydn is for him to drive off the Bolate army. So, Clevatess decides to leave right away, but he forbids Alicia from joining him since he wants her to protect Nell and Luna. Before leaving, Alicia wonders if it's a bad thing to seek revenge for her father, despite his last words to her. She feels she's not a hero anymore, but Clevatess tells her he never once told her to stop being one. With that, Clevatess assumes his true form and travels, heading for Haydn. Elsewhere, General Drell breaks past Haydn's second fortress, so Essen's soldiers begin to charge in his direction to prevent him from reaching Hydrat. Meanwhile, after Luna falls asleep, Nell joins Alicia in a small settlement in the city where some folks beat up a bandit. As the bandit begs for his life, he sees Alicia from a distance and tries to reveal who she is, but she fades into a corner before the people can see her. Sadly, the bandit bites the dust, and while he hung with his other comrades, the townsfolk wonder if the story about a monster attacking the bandit's lair is true or not. As a result of the imminent war, the people decide to arm themselves with weapons to make sure that no one invades their lands. Later that afternoon, Alicia arrives at an inn and two dudes, Pete and Phil, begin to question who she is. Before anything bad can happen, their mother, Kari, shows up and scolds them for being rude. She then questions Alicia's identity, and at first sight, she figures out that Luna is a pure-blooded Haydn. So Alicia tells her that someone only hired her to protect the baby, and she's just looking for a place to lay low. Fortunately, Kari lets her in and charges her some coins for a room, while her sons help to carry Nell's bags. While they settle in, a bug arrives at their window, and from its eyes, Maynard confirms that Luna is Haydn's missing royal blood. So he sends all of his bugs to pinpoint the baby's exact location. Later that evening when dinner is ready, Alicia heads downstairs to get her meal, but her mood shifts when she hears the men at the bar talking about the late king. They mock the heroes and the king for failing to defeat Clevatess and joke about how they died. Though this annoys Alicia, she pays no attention to it and heads back upstairs. However, she senses that dark beasts are on her tail. And that's when one of Maynard's bugs breaks into the bar and unalives an unlucky dude. When Maynard reveals himself, another unlucky guy tries to run for his life, but he gets devoured by bugs the moment he steps outside. As for Alicia, she hears Luna crying from upstairs, only for her to rush in and see that a high wizard named Naya is about to unsloth alive Nell. That brings us to the end of today's video. The new episode begins with a sense of mystery. Clint is furious, transforming into his true form and moving with incredible speed, but we don't know where he is going. The situation is perhaps more dangerous than you can imagine. Meanwhile, we see Alyssa with her companions, embroiled in a great argument. In another scene, we find the young child, Luna, crying, and with him is a sorceress who claims to be very powerful. Luna's nanny, Nero, is terrified. Nero is surprised to see how the sorceress got there, who explains she used her axe to fly. Her power allows her to control gravity, so she can attract or repel anything made of iron. By holding the wooden handle of her axe and pushing it, she can fly. The sorceress tells Nero, "I'll tell you about the Eastern lands. There is a turtle with an iron shell, which is the source of that magic from what I've heard. You can strike it with a steel sword, but it will stick and not come off. If you use a stone spirit, its iron shell will repel it away. This turtle is hard to deal with. This turtle isn't the best beast you can have, but everyone has a unique type of power." She then takes out a small crystal, and Nero asks her, "What are you going to do to us? Are you going to destroy this room?" The sorceress tells her not to worry. It's just a potion that reveals a person's talents. If you have a talent, the color of your eyes will change. Otherwise, you will vomit blood and die. Since this child is here, he is likely of royal blood. She then tries the potion on the child. Nero screams, "Stop!" Elisa hears her and runs toward them quickly, but the young man is very strong and says, "Woe to you, stop! You will never enter." He then destroys the area, saying, "It's time to get rid of you, swordswoman." Meanwhile, we see Nero screaming, "Stop, you can't destroy the life of a small infant child. This is not ethical." Nero tries to tear down the iron bars, but the sorceress tells her, "Don't waste your time. It would take 2 bulls charging at full force to destroy these bars." But Nero does it with ease, destroying the bars. This was an act of pure rage. At the same time, we see Alyssa saying, "I will not be defeated so easily." She lands on the monster and takes him down, then runs quickly to get to Luna. She enters and finds Nero holding the child, while the sorceress is lying on the ground. Alyssa asks her, Who made that big hole in the room? Nero tells her she did it. I pushed them with all my strength and blew up this place. Alyssa is surprised and says, how could you do that? But in the end, she says, we must protect Luna. They want to take him from us by any means necessary. When Clin returns, he will take his revenge on them. Now you must trust me and hold on tight, because we are going to jump down. They jump and are met with more insects, which Alyssa cuts down like flies. They run while the sorceress gets up and confronts them again, but they manage to escape in the end. The sorceress wonders why that woman has so much power. We then see Nero and Alyssa running at full speed through the forest. They will be able to get out of the town directly if they are lucky, but they find a large wall of insects. You should have left it from the beginning, and Alicia has used the dragonfly technique several times and will not be able to kill them all. Nero asks her what they are going to do now. Alicia replies that they have to find a place that the insects cannot enter. Then they run away to find this place. After that, we move to Maynard and his friends. His friend tells him that Alicia and the others are with them. Maynard asks her if she tested the child and if he has magic or not. She told him that she did not do that because there was a very strong woman with them who was able to stop her. Maynard is annoyed because they underestimated these two. The woman with the sword and the eye patch is a great hero in Orisha, one of the 13 heroes. When General Drell fought her father, he is sure of this. A hero like her would not travel with a normal child, so this child definitely has magic, which means he is in the right place, and there is no need for any tests. Then he is very happy because he will torture them severely. Then he asks his friends to gather all the townspeople in the main square. When the townspeople hear that Maynard wants them all in the town square, they wonder why Maynard and his soldiers want to gather in the square. Maynard's soldiers are only 4 people, but the rest of the townspeople are armed, and even if they are not afraid of these insects that they are asking for. If they want to fight, everyone is ready for it, but if Maynard tells them about his plan for this town, they will be with him. Maynard mocks them, then tells them that the first thing they should know is that if their king had not died after his reckless maneuver, they would not have been here. They may seem like a conquering army, but that is not true. They came here to protect them and their people, as the Lord of Dark Beasts attacked the capital of this country, and if he returns, this land will fall into the hands of the Dark Beasts again. It is clear that Hayden has no way to deter him, so they can do everything they can to protect the human world, and they did not come to steal anything from them. The townspeople asked him about these insects and if anyone was killed by them. Maynard replied that they had already killed one of the townspeople with these insects, but it was just an unfortunate incident, and this person was a girl. She was a traitor to Hayden and an enemy of humanity, so he used the insects because it was his only way to catch this girl. They asked him about this dangerous criminal, as they know she is dangerous to Maynard and his soldiers only and was not dangerous to them. Maynard told them that she is also their enemy. She is one of the 13 heroes who caused this. Everyone is surprised when he tells them that she is Elijah Glenfull, and now it is time to hunt the heroes. After that, we see this large army with General Drell, and they are on their way. Then General Drell speaks to his squad. Don't stop hiding and get out. Tonight's moon is brighter than usual. If you won't come, then I'll come to you. After that, Commander Ward arrives and with his power turns the water to ice, saying, I will stop you, General. His squad also attacks them. General Drell is amazed by what they have done and sees that they are able to stand on the ice because they are wearing spiked shoes. Ward says, on this frozen river, neither humans nor horses nor even that heavy Grandis can stand. This is more than enough to help 6,000 defeat 50,000. We see Commander Ward's squad running quickly to attack them. Ward says, this boy, kill as many as possible as long as we have the advantage, and target the sorcerers first. Don't let anyone who falls get up again. Then General Drell speaks to Commander Ward, saying, you are very amazing, grandson of the hero Royce. That holy treasure, the Flower of Frost, was once used to defeat a horde of dark beasts that reached the gates of the city of Islin. You have mastered its power, but even with the power of the frost magic, you would not have been able to freeze this entire river at once. You placed several sorcerers on top, to cool the water to a temperature close to freezing. Ward replies, that's right, and if I stop you now, I will win. Drell attacks him with his very powerful sword. We see Ward blocking the blow and asking him to get off his lap. Then Drell says to him, you are skilled in using your weapon, the holy treasure is powerful in itself, but you have the power to extract all its potential as well, and your strategy was perfect, but it is not enough to get there, not enough to break the bonds of the world. Then we see General Drell use his power and strike everyone around him, saying to them, anyone who was weak enough to die here does not deserve to go beyond our world. I will destroy the legend of the heroes. There is no point in keeping a tradition that is impossible to achieve. Because of this tradition, we challenge an unbeatable opponent with means that cannot achieve victory, just like your grandfather and my former friend, a believer in legends. We are defeated. We have been doing this for thousands or even tens of thousands of years. You must end this in appreciation for the wonderful battle you gave me. We are moving forward. You can stay there and watch the world change. Drell presses onward when suddenly a fierce wind like a powerful explosion blows. The Lord of Darkness, Clin, appears in his monstrous form. They recognize each other, and Clin lets out a mighty roar. A tremendous gust of wind with immense pressure hits everyone, for he is the powerful lord of the southern dark beasts. Drell asks, "What do you want, Lord of the Southern Dark Beasts?" But Clin, the Lord of Dark Beasts, has only one question to ask. Where did this magic that you humans use come from? There are those who are kidnapping both human and dark beast children alike, and I was told it's related to the magic you use. Drell is surprised by this question, as he expected a Lord of Dark Beast to have more pressing concerns. The Lord of Darkness replies, "A lord must respond to any intrusion into his territory. Those who desecrate my land must die by my claws, just like the king of this land. This is the law and code of this world." Suddenly, Drell gathers his immense power. A violent storm erupts, sending soldiers flying high into the air. But in that moment, the Lord of Darkness, Clin, simply stabs him with his claws and says, "Why didn't you answer my question, you fool?" But Drell had a trick up his sleeve. He knew he would be stabbed. "I've been waiting for your return, Lord of Darkness, ever since you attacked Hayden Castle." Suddenly, Drell casts a spell to seal the Lord of Darkness, called the Dark Liquid Prison. A large sphere of blood covers him, and Drell emerges from it saying, "I sacrificed my body to create this dark liquid prison. Now I am a sword, and my life is my sword. Not even the Lord of Dark Beasts will be able to escape it easily and will die slowly inside." Rod is very surprised that the Lord of Darkness has truly been defeated. After that, Drell orders all the troops to advance to continue their journey. Meanwhile, we see Alyssa and her group continuing to flee. The villagers are looking for them to eliminate them, having been tricked by those villains who use insects. Will they be able to escape these villains? And will the Lord of Darkness be able to free himself from this dark liquid and barrier? This is what we will find out in the next episode, so follow us. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell icon to receive all our new content. Our episode today begins on this desolate night. It's a very difficult day for Alyssa, Nero, and the little boy Luna. All the villagers are gathered around the house, saying, "Come out, hero. We know you're in there. You're wasting your time trying to hide. We've always hated you, heroes. You brought us nothing but shame and bad luck. You destroyed the entire city, killed everything in sight. But after that, did you rebuild the city? Did you plant trees in the forest? Did you rebuild what was destroyed? You did nothing." But Nero encourages her, saying, "Alyssa, don't listen to them. You are a special and valiant hero. You saved my life and sacrificed yours for me." Alyssa tells her that it's very difficult to hear, but she'll do what she can. "Now, get away from the window. It's very dangerous for you. The most important thing now is to keep you and Luna safe. Since we haven't left the city, I expected this would happen, but I didn't think they'd find her so quickly. It doesn't seem like the insect wizard is here yet. But even if we escape from here, it won't help unless we find a place to hide. What are we going to do now? Help me, God. I've run out of options and I've nothing left but you." Meanwhile, we see the people outside saying, "Come on out, the waiting time is over. We will burn the house with everything in it." One man decides to throw a torch, but another stops him and says, "Wait, you fool. Our ancestors built this water wheel more than 2 centuries ago, and I won't let you burn it so easily, you idiot." The first man says, "But sir, we must hand over these villains." The other man hits him again and says, "Why should we listen to what strangers say? This is our problem, the problem of our country, the problem of our town. We left those two waiting in the middle of town so we could watch them and prevent them from causing trouble." Phil asks him, "So what are we going to do?" The other man tells him, "You just need to step back and let me handle everything. I'll take full responsibility." This man, named Mark, introduces himself and says, "I was once the commander of the city guard. Come out, hero. I have a question for you. I promise not to let anyone harm you from the outside until we finish our conversation. All I want is to talk to you." Just a few seconds later, Alyssa comes out. Mark says to her, "You're the hero, so where is your sacred treasure?" She tells him that unfortunately she has lost it. He asks her how she lost it. She tells him that she didn't sell it but dropped it during her fight with the dragon bird, Clevatess. He learns from her that they fought and completely defeated this dragon. She says to him, "It's natural for you to hate me because things ended this way. I'm so sorry." He says, "Don't worry. If you had sold the sacred treasure and escaped, I would have killed you. But since you fought and lost, I have no objection." Alyssa's surprised and says, "What? What? You don't hate me?" He says, "Let me ask you a question. Is it worth it to continue after the price we paid? When the next king is elected, should we as citizens support him? You are the only heroes to have reached the Lord of Dark Beasts in the last 1,000 years. You saw what was behind the mountain and what is behind the edge of the world. So, was the price worth paying?" Alyssa remembers everything and says, "I was thrown into the air. I only saw a glimpse of it. It was round. There was no end to the world. The horizon stretched on without end." And she doesn't know if she has the right to say this after failing, but there are many things they can't learn when their world is small. She then tells them that there's a lot they can't get unless they dare to take the step, and there are people they'll never meet. She recently learned this from a frightening, arrogant person who treats her like a rag, but if she hadn't met him, her world would have ended before it could grow. So there is a meaning to expanding one's world. Going beyond those peaks is worth the effort for the heroes who also died trying, and she won't let anyone say otherwise. Mark responds with full respect, saying that the only thing the last king did right was his choice of heroes. She can go now, and the elders will calm down the young people behind them. They need their next king to do everything he can in the end, and she must deal with the wall of insects herself, and they will take care of the soldiers. Before he can do anything, Menard appears with a gigantic insect, kills Mark, and tells them that he won't let them leave without talking to him. Alyssa gets very angry and asks him how he dares to do that. He tells her that she ruined his game. Alyssa doesn't understand what he means, so he tells her that he means the game in which he watches his hero Hayden get beaten by the people of Hayden. He then uses a power. At that moment, the army of insects appears. The men decide to go into their town now so nothing happens to him, and Alyssa will confront these insects. Alyssa kills a lot of insects, and Menard tells her that this is to be expected from her, as she is the strong hero, since she killed all those insects, and now she will stay to fight him. He is very impressed by the spirit of sacrifice within her, but he asks her what she can protect this way. He then tells her that she should remember something, and that these insects are poisonous, and if their big ones are distracted, the poison of the small ones will spread. In the air, there are bees, and on the ground, there are ants, even the small relationships hidden in the leaves, the most dangerous of which is the weight of a spider that destroys her blood. He has a powerful poison that can dissolve a small living creature from the inside out. He hates heroes very much, or rather, he used to love them but hates them now. They didn't come when he needed them, and when he lost everything, the old couple next to him became more useful than them. Heroes are just empty symbols that can't protect anything, and the only two who can are him and General Drill, who overcame the same despair of heroes as she did. Alyssa wonders to herself if this poison affects the dark liquid as well, and Alyssa says to herself, this poison affects the dark liquid too. If that's the case, this is bad. Suddenly, the dragon Clevatess appears, saying, you have a mission you must complete. And Alyssa powerfully attacks the insects. She then asks Clevatess what he's doing here. Menard speaks to Alyssa, saying, you look all right. I see you're struggling to stay on your feet. Has the poison started to affect you? We then see the insects gathering around them inside the room, wanting to fight her. A maid then speaks to the others, saying, fill the gaps between the building's planks. Crush every insect that enters. We can't let them take these two. They can't take the child. That child is our country's future. We just have to believe that the hero will defeat the insects outside and protect them both. The man says, I have the tools we need, and they begin to prepare the room to prevent any insects from getting inside. After that, we see Alyssa attacking the insects. Menard says to her, give me all you've got. I really thought you would open the world, you and the rest of the heroes, but you're just fakes. Then a scorpion comes out of the ground, and Alyssa gets very scared. The scorpion strikes her, and she falls into the water. Then Clevatess says to her, you're moving slowly because the poison has weakened you. It's not strong enough to destroy your dark liquid, but it prevents you from healing until the poison is gone. Menard then asks her, don't you intend to get out? I thought being in the water would protect you. We then see the insects eating the building of the room they're in, as they're eating the entire forest. After that, this man says, why didn't that girl go with the insect man? He asks the girl, who replies, that's a silly question because I don't want to die. As soon as he becomes a grandfather, he doesn't stop until nothing is left. Menardo is the master of all insects, the most powerful and terrifying sorcerer in Bulet's army. We then return to Menard talking to Alyssa, saying, do you hear the sound of leaves being devoured? The screams of the forest? These are the larvae of a giant moth that hatches once every century and devours everything in its path. They only exist on one island in the east. Every time they pass, the land turns from tree-covered to completely barren. It waits in its home until the seeds grow into a huge forest. I can use my magic to speed up the cycle. That building won't last a minute against its appetite, and what will happen to those inside when they have nowhere to hide? In a matter of minutes, I will destroy this entire forest. At this moment, the hero Alyssa emerges from the water. She notices the cocoons, and more insects begin to hatch. Alyssa starts attacking them one after another, but the dust from their wings makes her dizzy, and she loses her balance. Menard and his scorpion attack her relentlessly until she falls to the ground, completely covered by the insects. He tries to break free, but to no avail. Claint appears to her once again, and at that moment, her sacred sword appears on its own and rises into the air. Menard is shocked that the sword has appeared on its own. To encourage her, Claint says to Alyssa, all living beings in this world are mostly made of water. Insects are no exception. A swarm of insects is no different from a mass of water. Consider it, hero, a river. And this sword has the power to tear it apart. End this now, maid. The hero Alyssa grabs her sword, regains her strength, and launches a powerful attack on the insects. The strike reaches all the way to Menard and every insect in the city, wiping them all out with a single blow. It is a terrifying power, the power of a true hero. Menard is stunned by this terrifying force and can hardly believe it. His necklace, the source of his power and energy, shatters. Alyssa defeats him instantly, then falls to the ground. Nero comes to check on her, but before she can fall, Klein catches her and says, I've wasted a lot of time on that weakling. He tells them that things have changed and that he has come to summon her. He then informs her that he did not defeat Drill, as it seems another Lord of Dark Beasts is supporting him. Will the hero be able to free Klein from the dark liquid that Drill has trapped him in? We will find out in the thrilling events of the next episode. But before you end the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all our new content. The episode begins with Princess Tula talking to one of her commanders, asking for an update on the evacuation. The commander reports that 80% of the population has reached the underground shelters. She urges him to speed up the process and asks if any survivors from the castle have been found. He has no new information, but the princess insists he continue the search, as she is certain her son, Hydreius VI, is still alive. An elderly woman advises the princess that she understands her feelings, but with the king gone, Princess Tula is the only one who can rule the land and must seek safety. The princess refuses to flee. As a mother, she cannot abandon her son while knowing he is alive. When asked what makes her so certain, the princess reveals that she saw the royal crucible glowing crimson. The crucible becomes dormant when a king dies, only to be rekindled when the next king appears. Its active glow means someone with a claim to the throne is still alive, and her son is the only remaining member of the royal bloodline. Their top priority is finding him, as he is the only one who can use the crucible. She believes that as long as the royal family holds the crucible, Haydn will remain Haydn, and she will not leave until she finds her son. She admits she wanted to leave with him before this happened because she sensed something was coming, feeling their heroes were not strong enough to defeat the dark monsters. If only she hadn't been delayed on her tasks during the naming day, she would have caught up to him. At that moment, Fabio Felipe arrives. The princess asks for news, and he reports that a 50,000-strong army from Driel has clashed with a 6,000-strong army from Aslan on the banks of the Maril River. Despite a brave fight, Aslan's forces were no match for the rude army. But that wasn't the end of it. Immediately after the battle, the lord of the dark monsters, Clevatess, appeared and attacked Driel's army, wiping out over half of them in an instant. However, the general created a strange orb that trapped the monster lord inside. The princess asks if this means another lord of darkness is involved, and Fleep informs her that Driel is now approaching with his remaining 20,000 soldiers. The princess is shocked, unable to believe that anyone could have defeated a dark monster lord, as it hasn't happened in 1,000 years. Her grandfather, who wasn't even a hero, couldn't do it. This is impossible and goes against all their traditions. Fleep explains that Driel is a former hero who possesses a sacred treasure and believes he is worthy of it. The princess dismisses this, stating that someone who leads an army to attack another country cannot be a hero. She orders Fleep to bring her armor, as she will destroy his sacred treasure. This is her duty as a member of the royal family. She explains that she has the Scepter of Kings, the only item capable of shaping and destroying sacred treasures, and a treasure cannot be wielded by anyone but the king. Fleep and the elderly woman try to stop her, but she tells them that she is the king on behalf of her son until he appears and takes the throne. As the princess prepares for battle, Philip brings her the Scepter of Kings. She thanks him, saying that with it she will have the power of the ancient kings of the past. She then asks him to meet Driel's army in the city. The scene shifts to the Haydrak capital, at the main outer gate, where a giant man is smashing the gate. The scene then cuts back to Alacia and Klein with Phil. Phil brings them a girl named Nai, telling Alacia that she is a hero as she defeated all those insects with one blow and her terrible injuries have disappeared. He tells her he will be her servant as long as she is there and to ask him to do anything she wants. Alacia asks him to bring Neloro to her immediately, and he rushes off to get her. Klein then talks to Alacia, noting that she now has a servant just like him. Alacia expresses her surprise at Phil's behavior. Nai sits down and asks them what they want, saying she doesn't want to listen to a long lecture and wants to know if she can leave because her knee is starting to hurt. Klein doesn't recognize her, and Alacia introduces her as Nai, one of the sorcerers who came for Luna. Alacia then tells Nai that she thought she was using magnetism, so she was captured easily. Nai retorts that if they had attacked her with weapons, she wouldn't be tied up like this. She admits she is weak and can't stop anyone with her muscles, and her guards were defeated easily. She wants to know what's going on. Alacia tells her she wants information about Driel and his relationship with a dark monster lord other than Clevatess. Nai is shocked and tells her she must be out of her mind and asks where she got that idea. Alacia tries to rephrase the question, asking if she has ever seen his dark fluid before, the red blood that came out of his body and moved on its own. Nai says that blood moving on its own is disgusting and she has never heard of such a thing before. Klein states that only a dark monster lord can produce dark fluid, which is why Driel returned by himself and is no threat. But if there is a dark monster lord behind him, it's a different story. They need to find out what's happening. Klein thinks to himself that if it wasn't him, that leaves Zafthir from the west, Rathwell from the east, and Forden from the north. He vows that if they decide to show their fangs, they will pay the price. Alacia speaks about the benefit of leaving his body and returning in this small form. He didn't leave his body, but only what was hidden in his shadow, making them think they had defeated him. While Alacia is talking, Nai interrupts, stating she doesn't understand anything they're saying. They only came for the Royal Haydn Crucible, and to activate it, they need the prince, which is her only reason for being there. She removes her gloves, revealing that her power doesn't work if she touches them, so she needs to take them off. This is her secret technique. She then uses her power and her gloves and flies away, escaping. The scene shifts to Nelora thanking some people for a ride. Nai, flying, sees them in a carriage with iron wheels and gets very excited. She attacks the people with her power and tells Nelora that she will be scolded if she returns empty-handed, so she will take them to Hydrat. She then uses her power and the carriage flies as well. Klein and Alacia catch up to them, and Nai is surprised to see them. Alacia tells her that they prepared this carriage so she could get there quickly, and that she no longer needs to force them. "I'm sure you know this, but this sword isn't made of iron," Alacia says. Nai thinks to herself, "I've lost." When the city residents see them, they rejoice, believing she will help and save them. Klein then talks to Nai, asking if she's satisfied now that she's done something heroic again. Alicia gets defensive, saying, "She already saved the town, you know, so that's heroic, and I'm a hero too." Nalora then says, "You surprised me too. I was like one of the heroes in the legends and was very impressed when I learned he was a prince." Klein tells her, "You are several times stronger than a normal human. I scorned you. Crush her with your power." They argue together, then Nai asks Klein why the group carrying a prince is so chaotic. Klein replies, "It's not chaotic, it was inevitable for everything here to end up this way because it has to be here." A large mountain appears on their path, with Hydrot behind it. Nai replies that they shouldn't worry, she will just fly higher. "I hope you all fall, except for the prince," she says. Alessia then speaks to herself, saying she has been ready for this for a long time. Trell killed her parents, so she has to hide her true identity. He must not know about the dark fluid. She will expose his true identity. When they arrive in the city, they see everyone fighting. Alessia looks for the commander and finally finds him. They all land on the ground, where the princess and the commander are. The princess tells the soldiers that their weapons are as strong as the sacred treasures. The princess tells her soldiers that the only enemy they need to defeat is General Driel. She orders the first squad to attack, and they charge at Driel, but he dispatches them instantly as if they were annoying insects. The archer squad begins to shoot him with arrows, but he destroys the arrows in the blink of an eye, turning them into ash. The princess is shocked that he is using magic. The shield squad then forms a defensive line to protect the princess, but Driel shoots an arrow at them, and they are instantly defeated. He then moves toward the princess, grabs her by the neck, and threatens her. He tells her that she will never be queen because she is not of the royal bloodline, and he is the only one with the strongest royal blood. Therefore, he is now the ruler of the country, as the law states that if the direct heir to the throne dies, the title passes to the nearest relative with the strongest blood. "I have come to destroy that and to remove the false destiny from this world," he says. He begins to squeeze the princess's neck. The princess considers hitting his sword with the scepter of kings, but can't move. She thinks, "Without his sacred treasure, we have a chance to win. If I can just create an opening for one moment, I may be able to defeat you." Suddenly, Alicia descends from the carriage, falling like a rocket. She commands him to stop. "I have come to greet you, Driel, and to avenge my parents," she says. At that moment, the princess tries to hit his sword with the scepter, but Alicia's impact on Driel causes a huge explosion, and the princess is thrown far away. Driel and Alicia begin to clash, and he asks her why she came to this place. "This is a battlefield, and there is no place for the weak and cowardly," he says. The hero says that a hero's duty is to appear when the world is in danger. The princess is surprised to see the hero Alicia there, as she knows she went to defeat Clevatess. Alicia continues to attack Driel, and they engage in a fierce battle. Below, Nalora asks Klein if Miss Alicia will be okay alone. Klein replies, "It doesn't matter if she is or not." While she distracts him, we will head into the depths of Hyden Castle to find the Crucible. That's what Driel and the person behind him want. I will find out who he is first, and that's why I brought you, Luna. He thinks only a royal person can open the Crucible's door. They then head toward the Crucible. They see soldiers guarding the entrance to the place. Their commander says to be on high alert because they don't know from which direction the enemy will come. As long as the Crucible stands, Hyden is invincible. "Defend this Crucible with all your might," he says. Klein, in a hurry, points to a wall, not wanting to waste time. He orders Nalora to drop her things and break down the wall. "This is a good opportunity to test your strength," he says. "When I healed you, I gave you the power to protect Luna. Your explosive power now exceeds that of a troll. Don't think about things, just push with all your might." She pushes the rock with all her strength, and the rock flies high like a rocket at great speed and lands on the soldiers outside, hitting their commander. The soldiers are concerned about their commander, who is seriously injured. Many soldiers are injured as well. Suddenly, Klein uses his power and all the soldiers sink into the ground. Klein and his servant then head toward the entrance of the Crucible. Klein remembers being deceived by a half-dead child to take care of that child. But it is true that a child does not choose the time and place of their birth, and this applies to everything, whether human or not. Most of their fate is determined by what surrounds them at birth. It cannot be chosen at the beginning. He then stands directly in front of the door and places Luna's hand on it, at which point the door lights up as if preparing to open. Will Alicia be able to defeat Driel? What does Klein want from this Crucible? We will find out in the next episode, so follow us. Please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all our new updates.